I don't regret joining Zer0 at all. He was the best decision I could have made in the moment. The role that my dad played in my career is like my right-hand man. I am who I am because of him. Biggest what if, I guess Sweet. Sweet has been so close to winning. I think Sweet was one of the best IGLs in the game. Hot take, I don't think Zero's mechanics are insane right now. I think he used to be better.
Knowing how it ended and what you did accomplish with him, would you say that teaming with Zer0 was worth it?
Me teaming with Zer0 is not a regret. Should I have rebuilt TSM back then when we did bad? I always ask myself, am I being like a coward? Am I just running away from a bad result and joining another team to not have to deal with rebuilding the team, or staying on the same team but tanking even more bad results? I don't regret joining Zer0 at all. I think it was the best decision I could have made in the moment. Not only just because we did bad as a team, but TSM at the time wasn't going to really give us what we wanted as players, contract-wise. TSM wasn't doing well as a business. When there was an amazing opportunity for me to join an organization that was going to give me what I want, and not only that, contract-wise, but also team-wise, I was like, this is just a no-brainer. I got what I wanted. I got a team that I also thought we could win. It just kind of fell in my lap, and I feel like it was just a complete no-brainer. I always do wonder, what would have happened if I did stay and nothing changed. I know, contract-wise, it would have been worse. I don't know if Evan would have wanted to keep playing with me, or Raven would have stayed, or I don't know. Who knows? I have no idea. I think me and Jordan would obviously stay together for sure. Evan would have probably left, or we would have had to pick up someone else. I'm not entirely sure. Who knows, honestly, but I don't regret it. I think it was the best decision at the moment. I think it was a good learning experience for both me and Zer0, for Jen, and everyone else on the team.
How instrumental has your father been in your esports journey?
The role that my dad played in my career is just like my right-hand man. I would not even be close to anywhere where I'd be without him. He was the one that always was backing me into playing video games, I guess. Bought me my first PC, bought every game that I would want, taught me how to earn things and not just be given things for no reason. There's no words to describe, his role. I think is just, if he wasn't here, then there would probably be no ImperialHal. I think that's probably the best way to put it. He, when things were doing bad for me, I don't really remember the exact conversations, how it would go, but he would always be there for me to explain who I was, and I think he would have said, this is just the part of the journey, it's easy to quit and stuff like that, when you can just keep going and stuff like that. There's no words to explain it. I am who I am because of him today.
Do you think your current team can beat TSM's Year 3 land run, first, second, and first?
Yes, I do believe it. In the very beginning of this team, or even now, when we formed this team, I was getting the vibes of old TSM, how we all communicate with each other, and everyone's kind of personality, and Kyle's, we're just joggers, our coach, role on the team. The same thing, the same role as Ravens. I think it's just kind of giving me flashbacks. I would love for it to, for us to beat that. I was thinking we were going to do that with me, Zer0, and Jen Byrne. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to go first, but it's a lot harder. I think it's a lot harder than it was before, with the ban system and POI draft. Way harder now compared to before, but I would always like to think it's possible and not impossible.
What did you say to the team, and how did you gain spirit within yourself to turn it around and have that run of games?
When we're in a bad spot or bad situation, when it comes, we're doing bad, and I'm in a position to say something and be motivational and uplift the spirits, I'm one of the last guys to do that, even though I'm the leader and I should be doing that. It was more so Jordan and Raven, I think, at the time, that were, kind of doing that, and not me. I wasn't really being negative at the time. From what I remember, I feel I was I didn't really feel any different. I didn't feel negative. I didn't feel positive. I kind of ignored my emotions and kind of focused on what was next. I knew if I did focus on my emotions, it would only be negative, since we were at the time doing really bad, and that doesn't help anyone. I knew I was angry after I got ratted on by Timmy's team in Wall. I kind of used that anger in a positive way, and after that we kind of just started clicking and winning. But I remember Raven, constantly would always say, it's not over till it's over. And that was just completely true. He knew that was kind of my weakness of mine. I feel I always kind of gave up after the first couple games. I always believed that how you start dictates the rest of the tournament. And if you don't start how you're supposed to, or if you start bad, you will always end bad. That literally came to fruition when that tournament came along. We were in 15th or whatever it was after game 5. I remember Jordan was saying after every game we won, he was like, all right, guys, we're winning the next one. And then the next one, like, we just won more. And he just kept saying that after every game we won. Yeah, it wasn't, I would not take any credit when it came to that.
I want you to describe each of your previous teams with a single word. TSM with Reps and Alb.
Brothers.
TSM with Reps and Snipe.
Fun.
TSM with Reps and Verholst.
Winners.
Falcons with Zero and Jen.
Potential.
Falcons with Zero and Waltzy.
Toxic.
Falcons with Waltzy and Guild.
I can't say the future or future, I guess. I don't know. Future, I guess.
Who, in your opinion, was the biggest what if in the Apex Pro scene? The biggest talent that wasn't able to achieve what they should have, either through bad luck or because they left the scene early?
Biggest what if? It's a lot of them, I feel like. I guess Sweet, Sweet has been so close to winning. I think Sweet was one of the best IGLs in the game. I think Sweet could be like the biggest what if he just didn't like leave the game early. I feel like he left the game early, in my opinion. Selly, I always admired Selly as a player. I think, he kind of like left the game also early. He's the biggest what if, probably like best mouse and key player to ever touch the game. Yeah, probably those two.
Who has been your favorite / easiest teammate you've ever worked with?
My favorite and / easiest teammate to work with is by far Reps. There is no person in the world that has understood me as a teammate more than him. I'm trying to like even remember the times where if he would like complain about, how I would act to him or what I would say, he's literally the only person that I've ever played with that's kind of like accepted who I was. It's crazy that I like never thought of that, but I think, yeah, Reps is starting close.
Which Apex LAN event was your favorite of all time?
Favorite Apex LAN event, performance-wise, definitely the 3 back-to-back-to-back wins by far. Actually, no, I don't know. I guess if we're talking about specifically LAN, it would definitely be the 3 back-to-back-to-back win for sure. Champs and Birmingham. When it comes to enjoyment, I guess it'd be the same one too. Yeah, it'd probably do the same thing. You can't beat the back-to-back-to-back. You're just like, you feel like you're on top of the world. Definitely that one, the Birmingham champs.
If you could build a dream team of anyone throughout the history of Apex esports, who would you choose?
Dream team of anyone I would play with in all time of Apex Legends. I'd go back to Albert Lely and Reps just because of nostalgia, and that's where it all started. Memories, I'm sure everyone would love to see that, but obviously that team is outdated, wouldn't be good at all, I think, in this type of game right now in Apex. But if I was trying to be like more realistic, best team of all time, like I would IGL. If Selly was able to like speak fluent English with me on the same team, I'd play with Selly. It would be me, Selly, and I'll just pick up like a controller player, like disregarding my teammates. If I didn't have to pick a previous teammate or a current teammate as a controller player, I'd pick up like Koifel, I guess. Koifel. Yeah, me, Koifel. No, that would be a bad team. Me, Selly, and Zap. Me, Selly, and Zap. That's a good team. I think that's a good team. Me, Selly, and Zap.
Your happiest moment in your career so far, and why?
Happiest moment in my career was definitely winter playoffs with Evan Verholst and Reps. I think it was probably our first official playoffs with Evan at the time. That's my favorite moment by far. It was online. It was during COVID. It was my highest viewership ever in Apex history. We won the tournament, and it was my favorite just because everyone literally counted us out in that tournament. Like every single person, even my own dad, counted us out in that tournament. Yeah, like having the doubt from everyone and the smack talk that everyone had towards us on Reddit and every platform you can think of, it kind of just made that like win just amazing, like the most amazing feeling ever. We all just played amazing that day, and it was just a great feeling, honestly.
Do you like the current location of ALGS Champs, and what's something you'd recommend in Sapporo?
I personally love the location of Champs this year, or last year too. I just love Japan itself. I've been to Japan numerous times. I just love the food there. Like the people there are like very nice. It's just like a different world over there compared to the US. And something to recommend if you're in Sapporo, I didn't get enough time to go to places to eat that were like insane, because I was only there for like 2-3 days, 4 days. There was a place that I went to, Sapporo. It's like a location, I don't remember the name of it. They had a lot of like statues and stuff like that. I really don't know the name of it. It was really beautiful, and there was like so much snow everywhere, but a lot of people like took pictures, and I took pictures there, and I think I posted it. But yeah, I would have to like look back at the name. Honestly, anything that you do or anywhere you go in Japan, you'll enjoy it. But yeah, just be careful with the snow and the ice on the sidewalks, because you can slip like at any time, anywhere.
This is a bit of a three-parter question. Who do you think is the best MK player at the moment?
Best MK player at the moment? Zer0, I'm not going to say you right now, bud. I'm not going to say Zer0. Hot take. I don't think Zer0's mechanics are insane right now. I think he used to be better. Like, instantly think of like Saucer or Vaxilon. Like when I play TDMs against them, I feel like they both are like really, really good for mouse to key wise. People are going to definitely think I'm like insane to think that. I think Vaxilon is very underrated right now, so I'd probably say Vax is probably the best, like mechanically. I would say Zer0 is obviously more valuable than Vax, because he's an IGL, but I think mechanically wise right now, I think Vaxilon is like the best right now.
Same question for Roller. Who would it be excluding you?
Outside my team, best controller player, probably Unlucky. Yeah, I think that's a no-brainer for sure. Unlucky. He almost 1v3'd us the other day, so it didn't happen, but almost.
Who do you think is the most underrated player currently?
Underrated? I did say Vaxilon is very underrated earlier. I'm going to be biased here. I think Waltzy is very underrated. I think Waltzy is very underrated just because he reminds me a lot of Jordan, like reps from TSM days. He's like, my co-IGL on the team right now, and Jordan was my co-OG on the team also back then. I think he's like that quiet guy. He's the guy that does anything for the team. He's, like kind of like the rock of the team, and that's what Waltzy reminds me of, just like Jordan was. And I think mainly the reason why he's very underrated is because he went from being a very aggressive player and being like the spearhead of the team to becoming the complete opposite role of the team for the sake of the team, the benefit of the team, playing Crypto and Newcastle and all these characters that just suck and boring, but are needed to be played and competitive. And that's hard. It's not so hard to learn, but it's more so hard to kind of put your ego to the side and be like, hey guys, I'll do it. I'm not going to complain about it. I'm going to do it, and I just want to win, and I'm going to do it for you guys. And that's what he did, not only for me now, but even for Zer0. And he does it great. Like, honestly, like you would think someone like, imagine me trying to play Crypto like right now, I would be terrible. Obviously it would take time for me to get good at it, but he does a great job of doing it, and I'm sure he can still go back to playing aggressive whenever he wanted to. So I think Waltzy is very, very underrated, considering I feel like he's a very well-rounded player that he could play like any character right now, honestly, at any point.
Would you ever consider coaching if you ever decided to stop playing?
My immediate answer is no to coaching at all. Who knows? Maybe there's a time and place where I don't have enough time to compete, but it would be nice to have an extra paycheck by coaching, and I think I could be very useful to the team. I would like not to, but I don't know how I would feel not having anything to do except like play games for fun. So maybe I'll still get that itch, or that itch scratched if I'm a coach and have that competitiveness in me. In one world, I immediately know, but I feel like there might be a chance that I still do it. Who knows?
Would you say that Zer0 has changed your way of looking at things in being an IGL?
I knew that question was coming. Playing with Zer0 changed my perspective of, I guess, IGLing and as a player. It like did for a bit. I did have obviously a completely different perspective when I played with Zer0. I was not an IGL at all. I was, more of a fragger. Yeah, more so a fragger than anything. I wasn't even co-IGL, I don't think, really. It gave me a different perspective of like damn, why is he acting like this? Why is he so angry? Why is he lashing out? I feel like it's over the top, it's too much, blah blah blah. And I thought, when I went back to IGLing, I was going to be mellowed out and this and that, blah blah blah. But I don't, I'm already slowly going back to my old self already, and I can admit that. I think in the very beginning, obviously, I was not myself at all, and I don't think there was anything wrong with that. It kind of just gave me a selfish perspective of, or I kind of understood why people are bothered by the fact that, you know, how I guess Zero acts or I act or anyone else that like acts similar to us. He also just kind of validated my opinion on the fact that people will never understand until you are in our shoes individually, me or Zero's shoes as an IGL. And that's just that's just how it is, you know. Like I cannot explain to people. I can, but people will not accept it or, you know, want to accept it. They always see it as like, you know, overboard or toxic and stuff like that. In a certain period of time, it changed who I was and it gave me a different perspective. But like I said, it kind of dwindled away pretty quickly after I like went back to IGLing again. So it didn't really change who I was.
Outside of yourself, who in the pro scene would you say has come closest to the standard that you've set in terms of commitment?
That's a good question. That's a hard question to ask or answer. Like, you know, trying to pick someone that has as much commitment as me. You know, obviously me saying that is like egotistical, but when it comes to like exactly what I'm doing, I don't think there is anyone close to like, you know, streaming every day and competing and playing ranked and doing everything that I do, but also like at the highest level. I don't think there's anyone close to that. There's obviously people like Zero that have performed almost to the same level as me, but he doesn't, you know, stream as much as me. He doesn't play the game as much as me. Like not even close. So, you know, that's like the biggest difference between me and him when it comes to commitment. I guess if I had to pick someone, it would be Zero, just because of his, you know, success, not necessarily based off his commitment, because he doesn't, you know, like I said, doesn't really play the game as much as I do and doesn't stream as much as I do.
Which two celebs would you want to play a pro Apex tournament with, and why?
Two celebrities I would play a pro Apex tournament with. Max Verstappen, because I just admire his competitiveness and his like relationship with his father. I feel like how his father raised him kind of reminds me of my relationship with my father when I was competing and being raised and stuff like that. The actor, I guess, that plays Thomas Shelby, I forgot his name, is like Cillian Murphy or something like that. I don't remember his name. Yeah, Cillian Murphy. I'll play with him. I think he's my favorite actor. So
besides streaming, besides practicing, playing, what else do you like to do? What's kind of some things in your routine that you enjoy?
Most of the time, if I'm not streaming, I'm just spending time with my girlfriend. We watch movies, shows, we try to play other games, go out to eat. Like recently, I've been trying to play Arc Raiders, I've been trying to play League, trying to play Battlefield, go to the gym, like here and there. I love traveling too. Like this is one of my favorite things, like experiencing new places and stuff like that. But obviously I can't do that, like, you know, every day.
What do you think has had a bigger impact on top teams' consistency, POI drafts or legend bans?
What has a bigger impact on teams' consistency, POI draft or character bans? That's really hard. I don't know. That's like a good question. It really depends on the team, honestly. Probably character bans, I'd say. You would think POI draft would, but I don't know, after playing from like every POI or like a lot of different POIs, I think POIs are not, it's like kind of whatever. POI draft, obviously it depends also on the map. There's like a lot of factors in this question, like, you know, what map are we talking about? Because certain maps, POIs are a lot different. You know, when you go to World's Edge, POIs are a lot different. Like trying to compare you to landing Landslide compared to landing Sky West Trials, or landing Landslide or landing Climatizer. You know, that's like a very big difference, and obviously that can impact your game a lot. So with the newer maps, definitely character bans by far, because the POIs on the newer maps are a lot more balanced and even. When it comes to like older maps like World's Edge, I think definitely POIs are a bigger impact than character bans. But if I had to pick one, I think just say character bans, just because character bans make people play different playstyles and play obviously different characters, so that takes a lot more skill than it takes to play a different POI. I think playing different POIs is a lot easier than, you know, changing from playing Newcastle to Crypto, or going from Crypto to a more really aggressive character. So definitely I think character bans has impacted the consistency of teams a lot more.
Where would you like to go for a LAN? Someplace that you haven't had the opportunity to go yet?
A LAN I would like to go next, in location I've never been, probably like China. I've never been to China. I'm pretty sure like the Chinese fan base is pretty big when it comes to Apex. So I feel like that would be like a really good spot to go. Maybe I was thinking Australia, but Australia is just because of location. I don't know. I don't think it's probably like the least played game in Apex, or least played region for Apex is Australia. So when it comes to like player base, I think if I, business wise, I guess China would be the best.